We've talked about sort of your own experience with mental health, but what's been sort of the personal and the professional benefits of learning mental health on top of everything else you've already learned? What would you say the main benefits?
Personally, as I said, I've used it as soon as I trained in the first weekend. I've used it and I've watched people change, and I've used the philosophy of the UDIN, which we talk about, the unexpected dramatic event, not just with mental health, but also with my practice in a different way.
Right.
So I've used it and it just happened. But I realized that when I found that moment with somebody, that unexpected event, actually emotionally, even if there's physically nothing wrong with them, they're not showing any signs of any physical problems, emotionally you can really target as well. So that I think people don't necessarily know about, but I use that mental health principle within EFT.
Right.
So even if somebody doesn't have a physical ailment, I will use that philosophy of, oh, let's find that unexpected dramatic event.
Right. Yeah.
And when you found it, and especially working with birth trauma and eczema, which I've been working with recently, I've noticed that when we found that event emotionally with the person, other things have cleared as well. So the mum might not have any problems at all, but emotionally, obviously, she's still holding that loop of fear of loss or fear of separation of the pregnancy or the birth. So when we clear that loop through knowing that UDIN, we actually not only clear the baby's eczema, because they're responding obviously to the mum because they're integrated, but we also clear lots of other emotional situations with mum, which is a fascinating journey to watch.
But actually, on a point of clarity there, for anyone who watches this interview, you resolved the eczema in the baby by working on the mother, right?
Oh yeah, never the child.
Right, because like that might be some people who don't know about mental health. They're like, well, what about young children with health issues who can't verbally, linguistically work with you? Well, then the mental health gives you that integrative understanding that actually the root cause was in the mother that was creating the separation issue.
But we also have to be really aware and careful the way we work with that, because obviously there'll be maybe possibly a judgment that the mother was wrong and that she was creating the unwellness in her child. So you have to be really sensitive with the way that you approach that philosophy. But the majority of mums are so fed up with the fact they're getting no sleep, the child's in pain or discomfort, they're itching and they're red raw, and they're really not a happy baby or a happy mother. So actually the creams and everything they've been using for a long time haven't worked, nothing's helped. The doctors have said, sorry, we can't do any more. Eczema Society has said, sorry, we can't do any more. Even though they're amazing and they hold, the emotions for people, they can't do any more. And so actually it's the key. It's the key to actually unlocking it. So actually I think taking responsibility for that is an amazing part of the journey. But it does need to be done very sensitively.
I agree. Yeah, sure. That's something really importantly. Need to keep in mind.
But I've noticed within 3 sessions, 4 has been the most so far. But within 1 session, baby's eczema was cleared.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually saw that on Facebook, and it went quite viral, that little post, because it was so stark, and then when you did it before and after,
that was 4 sessions, but within 2 sessions he was really on his way, which was great. Amazing, really exciting work. So if anyone's really interested in that, wow.
Because that could have gone on. That condition could have gone on for the rest of his life.
And it was more about with him, with mum as well, that she was afraid for his life. So she didn't want him to go to any play group. She didn't want him to be with anyone else. In fact, when I met him, she wrapped him in a sheet because she was afraid that he might get any other infections or anything on his skin. So this is before I started working with her. It was through a friend of a friend. And she now lets him play in the sand. When I recently did my course on getting to the heart and soul of relationships, which is around conception, pregnancy and birth, and I showed a picture of him playing in the sand because she's completely let go. So this baby now, at 1 year old, has now got a life where he can explore the environment freely. Whereas if he'd have stayed as he was, yes, he might have still had eczema, but he also will have been limited in the way that he could have explored the world and his journey. So that's beautiful as well, really.
Absolutely. That could have turned into his perception of reality being very fear-based because of his mother's conditioning.
Absolutely.
But you've nipped that right in the bud very early on, and that'll have he won't even know, he won't even appreciate the transformation.
No, he won't.
Which is just unbelievable, isn't it?
I think we can. I think we can really heal anything from, if we're looking right back at conception. I think if we look right back at conception, if we were able to do that, I think we can heal anything. I literally think that is the key to looking at what went on in those emotions in those first few weeks of when we conceived. That perception of belief that's born. Excuse the pun, but yeah, that perception of belief. I think we can actually heal anything. Because it's only energy.
It's only energy. Yeah. Which actually brings us right back to that personal responsibility / empowerment thing. That's the importance of, say, a mother taking care of herself, not just for her own benefit, but for her child's benefit as well.
Yeah.
That's brilliant knowledge. Well, Susan, this has been absolutely joyful. Really enjoyed it. So thank you very, very much for your time.